Blake Lively recently found herself in a full-blown public disaster after being confronted by Justin Baldoni's fans right in the middle of the day. Cameras were filming, tensions were sky high, and let's just say she was not prepared for the smoke. The real shocker? She actually apologized. But what exactly happened? Why were fans coming at her with that much intensity? And what did she say in her attempt to calm the situation? From the looks of it, Blake genuinely believes she could control the narrative and outmaneuver the entire internet. But the problem is simple. The internet never forgets. Her perfectly polished image is cracking, and people are finally seeing straight through the manipulation, the PR spin, and the selective storytelling she's been relying on for years. Now, the consequences are hitting hard. Hollywood insiders are distancing themselves. Fans are organizing boycotts like it's their new 9 to 5. And her follower count? Dropping faster than a surprise album at midnight. Blake Lively, once treated as Hollywood's golden girl, is now facing a backlash she never saw coming and can't seem to escape. Blake Lively has officially fumbled the bag, and the harsh truth is, she did it to herself. Hollywood's once-beloved sweetheart has now become the industry's newest villain, and the irony is brutal. The man she tried to tear down, Justin Baldoni, is out here thriving, landing wins left and right, while she keeps collecting L after L. Her reputation isn't just slipping, it's going up in flames. And social media? They are roasting her with zero mercy. If there was ever one moment that exposed how fast she's spiraling, it was that Hollywood Reporter cover on February 22nd. What was supposed to be a simple magazine favor turned into a viral catastrophe. The imagery of her launching a slingshot at Baldoni was almost poetic, because that's exactly what she attempted to do in real life. But instead of hitting him, the shot ricocheted straight back at her, and now she's being dragged from every direction. She can cry, play the victim, or spin the story however she wants, but the receipts don't lie. The public isn't buying her narrative anymore. Hollywood can try to polish her image all it wants, but fans control the conversation now, and they are absolutely obliterating her online. Since September, she has lost a staggering 864,000 followers, and the spiral shows no signs of slowing down. Before Justin Baldoni revealed all the receipts, some people were still sipping the Kool-Aid, defending Blake Lively. But once he laid everything out, it was game over. Suddenly, the public could see the truth. This wasn't some M2E moment or a misunderstanding. This was Blake throwing a fit simply because she didn't get her way. And when fans turn on a celebrity, you can bet Hollywood isn't far behind. The industry has no patience for a diva who creates chaos on set, and Blake has officially been exposed as exactly that. Behind the cameras, she's been a manipulator, difficult to work with, and a source of constant drama, now fully visible to the world. Her carefully crafted image is crumbling, and both fans and insiders are watching the collapse in real time. The narrative she tried to control has completely slipped, leaving her reputation in shambles and her influence in steep decline. Blake Lively now finds herself at the center of one of the most talked about scandals of her career. Once Hollywood's golden girl, she's now facing public backlash, industry distrust, and relentless online scrutiny. Every misstep is magnified, and her carefully constructed image is unraveling in real time.
You're not great. Blocked.
Yeah.
Do you block people, Evan?
No, I've muted some people. Now that it's a function on Twitter and Instagram, there's a couple people that I have muted.
Good.
Yeah.
The studios are dropping subtle hints about Blake Lively's behavior, but they're keeping most of the details under wraps. And trust me, Blake would probably hate that metaphor. The shocking part? She wasn't even the director of It Ends With Us. Yet somehow she acted like she owned the entire production, forcing script changes, overruling the director, and hijacking the project like a budget Steven Spielberg. All this despite having zero real authority beyond her roles as an actress and executive producer. Somehow, the entire set became the Blake Lively show, and allegedly, no one felt brave enough to call her out. Crew members and co-stars reportedly stayed quiet because they knew that if Blake decided she didn't like you, your career could be over. Years of selling the sweet all-American girl next door act had masked the truth. Behind the scenes, she ran things like a dictator. She accused Justin Baldoni of harassment, yet by the time the movie premiered, they weren't even speaking. Allegedly, she made him stay in the basement, and even Ryan Reynolds reportedly turned against him. Then, with shocking audacity, she claimed he was running a smear campaign against her, but Hollywood isn't buying it anymore. Even actresses like Jenny Slate were allegedly caught up in the drama, forced to navigate the chaos quietly. Even those Blake Lively allegedly pressured to back her are now distancing themselves, including her so-called Hollywood friends. And that Hollywood Reporter cover, it was the final nail in the coffin. It wasn't just a humorous illustration. It laid bare who she truly is. She may have tried to spin it as a clever gesture, but everyone saw straight through it. Witnesses reportedly remain scared to come forward due to alleged bullying and intimidation. Hollywood doesn't care about morality, it cares about power. When someone becomes a liability, they get tossed aside. Right now, Blake Lively is the biggest liability in the game. Studios don't want to touch her, the industry is stepping back, and the carefully curated image she spent years cultivating is collapsing before everyone's eyes. Her attempts to control the narrative have spectacularly backfired, leaving her exposed, isolated, and officially radioactive in the industry she once dominated.
Difficult for anyone to ever work with Blake Lively ever again.
How big of a black eye did they get? Like, not how big of a black guy did they get?
Gotcha.
How big of a black
Let me tell you about that story, Pat.
What do you mean by that?
Like, meaning, how bad is this on their reputation?
On their reputations?
Ryan and Blake?
Terrible. I mean, now other footage is coming out of Blake Lively admitting, hey, when I get involved with projects, they hire me as the actress, and sometimes I don't really tell them, but I actually want to come in and I want to rewrite it, and I want to be a producer, and I want to do all of these things. She's literally admitted all.
It's going to be incredibly difficult for Blake Lively to bounce back. Who in their right mind would hire someone who hijacks productions, throws tantrums when things don't go her way, and undermines the people around her? Even if Justin Baldoni had been a little too touchy or made awkward comments, that still doesn't justify the level of chaos she caused. Blake was handed a dream career, a perfect Hollywood husband, industry connections, and endless PR support. Yet she got overconfident, believing she could control every detail, and now she's losing it all. Meanwhile, Justin is thriving, looking like an absolute saint, while Blake spirals like a plane with no engine. The contrast couldn't be starker. She's burning bridges, throwing tantrums, and watching her carefully built reputation crumble, while he's out in Hawaii, surfing and living his best life. Her meltdown has become, for lack of a better word, pure spectacle. Blake thought she could bully her way to a legal win, but the moment Justin fought back, her case collapsed like a cheap Hollywood set. The most embarrassing part? She allegedly tried to delete key text messages from her lawsuit to strengthen her argument, but Justin had everything archived, exposing every shady edit. Legal analysts are now publicly dissecting her moves, and it's clear the tide has turned against her. Legal experts have been tearing her case apart, highlighting inconsistencies, contradictions, and strategic omissions. Blake genuinely seemed to believe she could rewrite reality, but now she's being exposed as a liar. Adding to the pressure is Brian Friedman, Justin's lawyer, who isn't here for PR stunts. He's ruthless, strategic, and laser-focused, making sure the truth comes out while ensuring Blake's attempts to manipulate the situation spectacularly backfire.
Justin Baldoni in this lawsuit with Blake Lively, because I think she's horrible and she's made up this whole thing because she tried to steal his movie. But he is the most overly feminized man I've had to endure in recent history. Everything he says is self-flagellating over the fact that he's a man. But he's, to me, is sort of the embodiment of what happens when you totally emasculate a man. And then she continued, she took that stiletto and stuck it in his heart when he was down there self-flagellating, being so sorry for anything having to do with his testosterone. And so that's what happens to you, right? You run into somebody who seems like a witch who will take advantage of you and hurt you until finally even that kind of a guy rises up. Now, he didn't do it himself exactly. He hired a badass named Brian Friedman, and he has badass women like me defending him. But the slow
Every move Blake Lively makes is being countered by Justin Baldoni, who remains 10 steps ahead, shutting down her accusations while her legal strategy crumbles into a complete farce. Instead of presenting solid evidence, she keeps tossing out vague claims that carry no weight. Hollywood lawyers are already drawing comparisons to the Johnny Depp vs. Amber Heard case, but with one key difference: Blake doesn't have the public on her side. In Hollywood, once the public turns against you, it's game over. She thought she could weaponize the #MeToo movement to her advantage, but instead, she's become the new Amber Heard, with the entire internet rallying against her and no clear path to redemption. Meanwhile, Ryan Reynolds is scrambling to do damage control, but every attempt seems to backfire, highlighting just how badly Blake's carefully curated image and strategy are collapsing. There's a deeply unsettling feeling about the whole situation, that gut instinct you get when someone seems charming on the surface, but the chaos behind the scenes tells a very different story. On the surface, Blake Lively might seem charming, but behind the scenes, she's reportedly moving like a straight-up psychopath. And Ryan Reynolds didn't help matters. The most cringeworthy moment came during the SNL 50th anniversary special, when he attempted to joke about the situation with Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. Yikes. The joke immediately backfired. This isn't some lighthearted Hollywood scandal you can laugh off. While a few people chuckled, the majority dragged him online for making light of serious accusations. Instead of deflecting attention from Blake, his joke only added fuel to the fire, highlighting just how tangled and disastrous the entire saga has become. This little stunt was a total flop. Ryan Reynolds spent years cultivating the perfect husband image, but now cracks are showing. At the end of the day, he's defending a woman everyone can see is manipulative and power-hungry, and his brand is taking hits for it. Hollywood doesn't reward loyalty. Once you become bad for business, you're out. If Ryan thought backing Blake was a smart move, he's likely regretting it. Initially, a few celebrities tried to support them, but now they're jumping ship. Nobody wants to be associated with his sinking career. Blake's legal case is falling apart, her PR moves are flopping, and even her own husband is taking L after L. Hollywood has officially washed its hands of her. She thought she could control the narrative, but she's being repeatedly exposed. At this point, both she and Ryan are facing the fallout head-on, and the industry isn't showing any mercy. Blake Lively is now radioactive. One minute, she cries about being a victim of harassment. The next, she and Ryan are joking about it on SNL. The tonal whiplash is insane, and nobody wants to be associated with her chaos. Meanwhile, the more Blake acts desperate, the more composed and mature Justin Baldoni appears. He hasn't engaged in drama, played the PR game, or whined to the press. He's simply let the truth speak for itself. Hollywood is rallying behind him, seeing him as the manipulated, misrepresented, and nearly destroyed figure caught in the crossfire of one of Hollywood's most powerful couples. Blake and Ryan reportedly tried to isolate him, pushing him out of his own movie's marketing, keeping him off promotions, and excluding him from the press cycle for a film he co-produced, all in an attempt to erase him and paint him as a creepy, inappropriate co-star. But the tables have turned. Every petty, made-up, out-of-context complaint she used to try to hurt him has backfired, and when he pushed back, even forcefully, Blake lost all control. Justin Baldoni's silence has spoken louder than any of Blake Lively's PR maneuvers. Hollywood now sees her for what she truly is, a manipulative, power-hungry actress who destroyed her own career through arrogance. Meanwhile, Baldoni's future looks stronger than ever. Studios aren't blacklisting him, directors aren't avoiding him, and he's emerging as a composed, respected professional. The truth is, Hollywood doesn't care about morality, ethics, or justice. It cares about money and reputation. Right now, Blake Lively is the biggest liability in the industry. No studio wants to work with someone who hijacks productions, throws tantrums when things don't go her way, and then plays the victim when her schemes backfire. Every move is being scrutinized, and the message is clear. Hiring Blake is a financial and PR nightmare. She once claimed she wanted to contribute to storytelling through writing, costume design, and character creation, but her own ambition and control issues have turned her into the ultimate cautionary tale in Hollywood.